Hey guys, I'm Nate from Nate Bakes Broadway, and I can't wait to show you guys this week's dessert based on the hit show, Dear Evan Hansen. Let's get started. Dear Evan Hansen is such an amazing show. It really follows the life of Evan Hansen, a high schooler who suffers from depression. But it also shows such poignant themes of when you're alone, really how together we actually are. And also, you can come out of that depression and come together. And I think it's just such a beautiful show that is just so moving in this time, especially now, like looking back on my experience watching it. It really shows us that we're all together, and especially now when we're all apart, I think it's even more important. But for my dessert, I based it off of the song For Forever, when Evan Hansen talks about being with his friend Connor. He talks about grabbing a scoop at a la mode, which is an ice cream store, but like pie, a la mode, apple pie, and I think so Americana. And at the end of the show, they go to an apple orchard, and I think I was basing off that, and I was like Americana, like pie, a la mode, but also like apples. So I came up with this rustic baked apple dessert. So we're gonna take either peeled or non-peeled green apple, and we're gonna bake that with like some warming spices, apple pie spices, with some crispy cinnamon sugar tortillas on the top, some Drunken apricots and rum raisins, beautiful caramel sauce, and we'll see how it goes. So are you guys ready to get started? Because I know I am. All right, let's do this. So for a baked apple, we're gonna do a super simple recipe. You either take a peeled green apple or a non-peeled green apple, and make sure you core the center. Key to the recipe. Then from there, we're gonna take a brown sugar mixture. So I did about a cup of brown sugar, and then cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and then my two secret ingredients of cardamom and cayenne. Don't worry, it's not that much cardamom or cayenne, so if you don't like spice, you don't have to put it in. Then we're just gonna take 2 or 3 spoonfuls, so about halfway up the inside of the apple. We're just gonna push it down with our finger because we'll leave a lot of space in there. And then from there, we're gonna do some raisins. It's just, they cook with the apple and they get nice and steamy, and it ties in our raisins later on. Don't be shy, I love a lot of raisins. And then from there, just a small cube of butter, just to keep it moist on top. Then, another key, aluminum foil. You just wrap the apple in aluminum foil. It not only helps keep the juices of the actual apple inside, but it helps steam the apple basically in its own juices, and it just helps to keep it super moist. And then from there, we're gonna do 6 of these apples, 6 to 8, depending on how many apples you have. And then our next step is to do the Drunken apricots and rum raisins. So let's do it. So for our Drunken rum raisins and apricots, we're gonna add a generous number of raisins and plentiful apricots, and then we're gonna add a fair amount of sugar to that. From there, we're just gonna mix it around until the sugar has coated all of the dried fruits. From there, we're actually gonna add our white rum and our apple cider. The white rum is obviously for the drunkenness of the Drunken rum raisins and apricots, and the apple cider is just to tie in the appley taste from the rest of the dessert. From there, we're just gonna mix until the liquid has come together. And then once it's begun to boil, we're actually gonna add a dash of cider vinegar. It kind of serves to cut through the richness. From there, we're just gonna wait until it becomes syrupy and thick, and our raisins and apricots will be done. So for our caramel, we're gonna take our pot, put it on medium-high heat, and we're gonna add our sugar to it. We're gonna begin to stir it around until the sugar dissolves and it begins to turn a deep amber color. But don't leave your pot too high or you will burn your sugar and you'll have a bitter tasting caramel. From there, we're gonna add a lot of butter, okay? Butter makes everything taste better, don't worry. And it will begin to bubble up and separate, but don't worry, it will all come back together at the end. And we're just gonna mix until the butter melts and it does come back together. It may still be a little frothy on top, but that's okay. Then after that, as we let our caramel come together, we're actually going to add cream to it. The cream will once again separate the liquid, but it will come back together again. And then as it stirs, it will be thin, but don't worry, as it cools, it will thicken. Our last step is to add salt, and our caramel is done. So for our crispy tortillas, we're going to leave our oil on 400 degrees and just wait until all the pieces become golden brown. From there, we're going to mix them in our spiced sugar that actually has sugar, cinnamon, cardamom, ginger, and nutmeg. And make sure you get all of your pieces totally covered in sugar. Before we plate, I want to talk to you guys about an amazing organization. The COVID-19 pandemic has shut down Broadway until 2021, and many artists are struggling. The Actors Fund is an organization that continually helps not just theater artists, but professionals in music, radio, television industries, and so much more. They provide a safety net with their offices in New York, Chicago, LA, and they can provide housing, health insurance, financial assistance, daycare, senior care, and so much more. During this shutdown, they provided over $15 million to over 12,000 different people. But they are far from done because the need continues to exponentially grow and they need your help. So if you can, please donate at actorsfund.org/NateBakes. The link is below in the description. But if you can't, that's totally fine. But please help to spread the word about this unbelievable organization. Now, it's time to plate, so let's get to it. So it's time for plating, my favorite part. There are so many different ways to plate, especially this dessert. But I went ahead and took the apple out of the tin foil, and I actually cut it in half. So we got one half, it's super soft, I don't want to pick it up. But you can pretty much do it however you want, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one half, I'm gonna leave the side that's big cord like out so that you see that, and you see that deliciousness from the inside. And then I'm just gonna kind of like lean the other one up against it. Really, it's artistic. So, you know, artistic license, do what you want with it. I trust you. And you know, this is like a rustic style dessert, so there's really no pressure. And then I'm just gonna take a little bit of vanilla ice cream. I'm just gonna like lie it on top. And I'm gonna just mix up our caramel again to make sure it's all incorporated. Take it, I'm just gonna drizzle a little over the top. I don't wanna go too much, it's pretty rich. Just like drizzle a little. And then from there, take some of our apricots and raisins. Don't be afraid to get in there with your fingers. You wanna make sure you get enough of the apricots, enough of the raisins. And then you can use the spoon to get a little bit of the sauce in there because it's delicious. We worked so hard on that sauce, we have to use it. Get some of these raisins. I know there are raisins on the inside, but don't be shy. If you don't like raisins, well, there are tons of other dried fruits, and if not, you can just stick to your, you know, brown sugar caramel sauce. But I just think it gives it some texture, and with the rum and the apple cider, I just think it gives it a nice richness to the plate, and with the cider vinegar, it gives it something to cut through it. And then we have our beautiful tortillas that we're gonna lie on top. Super simply, however you want to. Just for some crispiness. So I like to add a lot of them because I really like them. They remind me of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And just gonna put one over here. And that is our beautiful Dear Evan Hansen baked apple dessert. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to donate to the Actors Fund. See you next time.